Yavapai Broadcasting and the City of Cottonwood proudly present Inside Cottonwood, an inside look at the decisions and issues of the City of Cottonwood. Brought to you by Arizona Smile Designers.
Biking and walking make up 11.9% of all trips made in this country. According to the Outdoor Foundation, between 2008 and 2010, participation in road, mountain, and BMX bicycling grew from 41.5 million to 42.3 million Americans. Good afternoon and welcome to Inside Cottonwood. My name is Jason Little, Recreation Manager with the City of Cottonwood, and with me today I have Miss Nikki Arbeiter, Community Planner with the Community Development Department. And she's also chair of the Bicycle Advisory Committee. Welcome, Nikki.
Thank you, Jason.
Nikki, every time I bring someone on the show, they're usually new to the show or they've been on a few times, and in your case, you're new. And I always like to start off by having the guest of honor, whoever's with me, tell the audience a little bit about themselves.
Sure. I've been with the city for about 8 months now. I started back in August. I did grow up in the area. My family moved here from Illinois when I was 4, and I was raised in Clarkdale. I went to school at Mingus, graduated in 2002, moved on and went to ASU for a couple of years and ended up actually in the University of Oregon in Eugene. That's where I got my bachelor's degree in planning. After that, I took an internship with the City of Scottsdale, came back down here, got into their long-range planning department, and started up school again and earned my master's degree from ASU in 2010. It wasn't a very good time to graduate as a planner, but after that I started looking for work, and when I saw the City of Cottonwood had a position open, I was really interested in coming back to where I grew up. So what happens this time of year? After living in Phoenix and coming from Oregon, do you miss Oregon at all? I do miss Oregon this time of year, but yes, but I didn't miss it this winter. My mom still lives up there, and it was a terrible rainy winter for them. So. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. From what I understand, you wear a number of hats. You're the planner. I'm sure you do some long-range planning and whatever else you guys do, but you're also a critical component of the Bicycle Advisory Committee. And this is a committee, correct? Yes, it's an informal committee. Actually, at my first interview, the first thing they said is, we have this plan, it was adopted in 2009, and we don't have anyone to implement it. This is going to be your job. And I think a lot of, I was excited for it because a lot of my education at Oregon related to bicycle planning and transportation planning. Eugene is the second most biked city in America beyond or after New York City. So it was a great place to learn about bicycle transportation planning. So I think I have some good knowledge to help lead this committee. I didn't know that about Oregon. That's pretty amazing. So yeah, it's very people. Yeah, people will bike in rain and hail. They'll bike in any conditions up there. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't fall in that category. Yeah, no, I didn't either. I was the one who had an umbrella if it was sprinkling. So. Too funny. With any committee, a lot of committees they're founded upon visions, missions, goals, and objectives. Does the committee that you chair, does it have a mission? Yes, I would say the primary mission is to implement the city's bicycle plan. This plan is very comprehensive. It includes several departments in the city, and it really needed a committee to kind of guide the implementation and make sure that these projects were going forward. I think the overall goal is to improve bicycling, the network, the safety, just the overall conditions for bicyclists, to increase bicycling. Those are all the goals and visions found in the plan, and the committee's just trying to implement that plan. You know, that's a very good answer. I guess I'd like to point out something I didn't know until this morning. I was actually talking to Iris Dobler with HR, and we were talking about the number of vacancies we have on various committees and commissions in the city. I take it from what you're talking about and being a part of the committee, so I'm a little biased, that you don't have that problem. No, we don't. We've actually, when I took it on, we started with I think there was maybe 7 or 8 people, mainly city employees, a couple community members. I kind of looked to fill the gaps. I don't know if you served before I came on or not, but I kind of wanted to make sure that all city departments were being represented. So we have Public Works now, we have Police, we have Parks and Rec. And also, the community has really responded. I've had, I think, 5 people contact me and kind of say they were joining, whether I liked it or not, which is great. We welcome more members. It is informal. So now we're up to 13. So
That's amazing.
It's a great committee. So.
I really commend you on that fact. You do have good departmental demographics, someone from every department. Just briefly, I know we don't have a lot of time, could you tell us who some of the members are?
Yes, yeah. In the city, we have Morgan Scott with Public Works, who is just full of knowledge and a very vital part of this committee. We have you, Jason, with Parks and Rec. We have also in the city, George Gelher is my boss, Community Development Director. He's also there to oversee things. We have Carla Hover with Yavapai County Health Department, and she works with the Safe Routes to School, so she's great to have. We have Randy Victory, who represents state parks. We have Dr. Bob Richards, who represents Verde Valley Cyclists Coalition. We have Kevin Dix, who represents the school district. And we also have local bike shop owners. So we have and I forgot to mention Gary Izenga with the police department. So we have several people from around the community, and also several people from in the city. So it's a good mix.
Having been affiliated with a number of commissions and committees throughout my career and while I've been working with the city, it's kind of tough as the chair when you bring a group of people together because they all have a different, I don't want to say agenda, but they all have their own things they're really trying to push. When you first initially met with this group back in October, what were some of the initial projects you set up and got them to kind of gain a consensus on to build and get the committee started? Well,
when I took over in October, we didn't have any funding or any budget for our bike committee. So even though some of the members probably had some big dreams and big projects they want to get started, we really first had to narrow it down to projects that we could feasibly do. Those included Sharrows, which is a stencil that the city had already purchased, were very inexpensive, and all it really required was some time on Public Works employees and some paint. And that was one of their first projects they wanted to get going. And also we took a look at the bike map and saw where there's some opportunities for creating connector paths in areas that the city already owned property and right of ways. So those were 2 projects that we got going right away that were very, very low cost to the city.
Before we segue into the connector paths, Ashera, when I initially started with you, it was actually kind of funny. I thought it was like a place to eat, like a Sbarro's or something, so I didn't know what I was going to order. But can you explain to the viewing audience what a Sharrow is? Yes,
a Sharrow is a symbol that is painted on the ground, and it is a shared use symbol. So it shows a bicycle, and it shows kind of a triangle showing that the road is meant for both cars and bicyclists. It's mainly used in areas where there are not bike lanes, and it's also really good for areas where there is on-street parking, so that the cars know the bikes need to be in the road so that they don't get hit by doors opening on on-street parking. That's why it's really important to have in Old Town. So I know there has been some confusion with the Sharrows. City had a comment once about, well, I'm glad they're banning bikes on 12th Street now. And so that was a really big confusion we wanted to clear up. So we have ordered signs to go along with the Sharrows that will explain this is a shared use lane, please pass with care. And that's really the goal of the Sharrow is to share the road with the bicyclists and to pass and give them a 3-foot boundary to go around. So.
That's a great example. I also wanted to comment on the little diagram that you just sent over to Ryan that he was able to put up on the screen. It was a nice diagram.
Yeah,
it showed it really well. When we first started we really used Gary in the capacity and the police department compiling bicycle collision data. Are there a lot of accidents that happen that are reported? What can you tell us about accidents?
Yeah, there are. I wouldn't say that there is a lot. Over the past 6 years, there's been an average of 6 collisions a year. There have been no deaths in the city limits, thankfully. There have been some in nearby county limits, but none in the city. And they're in very targeted areas. Almost a quarter of them occur at 89A and Main Street, right there by the Safeway Chase Bank intersection. And about another quarter of them occur at State Route 260 and 89A right there in town. So that's a huge percentage. And also a huge percentage, about 42%, occur on sidewalks. So It's not an overall big issue, but there's targeted areas that we can try to control and try to look for ways to improve the safety at those intersections. So,
I think that would be a good common practice, Nikki. Nikki, we're getting close to our first break, and a lot of people who tune in the show, a lot of times will have a lot of questions. Could you lead us in the break and maybe give them the name of a person, either yourself or a telephone number or someone from the committee that they could call if they would like to get involved in the committee?
Yes. You can contact myself, would be the best. Nikki Arbeiter, the City of Cottonwood Community Development Department. We're located at 111 North Main Street. It's in the water department where you go and pay your water bill. And my phone number is 634-5505, extension 3322.
Thanks, Nikki, and we'll see you guys when we come back.
Okay.
Meet the team at Arizona Smile Designers, offering complete, comprehensive, restorative, and aesthetic dentistry. Dr. Vergara and Dr. Lord specialize in dental health, implants, and cosmetic dental procedures. Expert staff and state-of-the-art equipment bring forth the most from your smile. Dr. Ripplinger conveniently comes to Arizona Smile Designers for oral surgery and complicated procedures. Visit Arizona Smile Designers at 350 South Willard in Cottonwood. Insurance and new patients are welcome. Call 634-8610.
Thousands of fires across the United States are caused by careless people. Hi, I'm Fire Marshal Rick Contreras with the Cottonwood Fire Department. The major threat of human-caused fires are from burning debris that get out of control or improperly extinguished or unattended campfires. Remember that fireworks have no place on our wild lands. Become part of the solution. Learn more about proper fire safety by contacting the local fire department.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. My name is Jason Little, Recreation Manager with the City of Cottonwood, and with me today I have Miss Nikki Arbeiter, Community Planner for the Community Development Department, and we're talking bicycles. Before we went to break, Nikki did apprise everyone that when you see a Shero on the ground, that doesn't mean that you can't ride your bike on the road. That's just let drivers know that you need to share the road with bikers. Nikki, we also were talking about the Sheros and documented accidents and various things like that. I was going to use what you talked about earlier to segue into our second segment, which was Connector Pass. You said that was an initial impetus of the group to create new Connector Pass to get people, I guess, around in a more circuitous manner if you ride bikes or something like that. So anyway, what were some of the initial road projects that you guys were trying to get off the ground?
The two primary ones, and these were brought to my attention by Morgan Scott because he really knows the city so well that he knows the areas that we own and places that are would work well for this situation. We decided to do paths along Date and Elm Street. They run parallel to First Street, and the space between 10th and 12th just dead ends. If you're on Date Street headed if you're driving along Date Street headed towards 10th, it just dead ends. And then you would have to go all the way up to Fur to go around to get to 12th Street. And they're very small strips, but they are city right-of-way. They're owned by the city. They technically could be roads, but we've never intended to put roads through there, but we did improve them to become bike trails, and they were really successful. We're going to get some more trail signage out there. The one we built these all with the help of volunteers as well. This was no cost to the city, so they were great projects. Would you like me to go into a little more detail about who? Okay. Yeah. Well, I can need to look at this to remember which one was built first.
We don't allow you to look at notes.
It was Date Connector Path was built first, and Gary Izinga, who's a bicycle advisory committee member, him and his family were out there on a Saturday volunteering, and they also had Yavapai County Probation Crew was a great asset to help build these trails. They got guys out there, and they were done by noon. Had built Date, cleared it, put really nice rocks on it. They'd actually had a place where they had a culvert that they needed to fill in. And they did a beautiful job. The next weekend we had Verde Valley firefighters help us clear brush on the Elm Street Trail because that one was extremely heavily brushed. And they actually took it as an opportunity to train their wildland firefighters and to get practice. There was a Yavapai College wildland fire class that came out and they practiced, and then there also City of Sedona, Jerome, Clarkdale, Cottonwood, Verde Rural, or Verde, is it Verde Rural still?
Yeah, Verde.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That might have changed. But they were all out there helping cut the brush, cut down the trees, clear out the garbage that was down in the wash, and then the following weekend the probation crew went out there and kind of really cleared the path and made it usable. So they're both very usable. We'd like in the future to make them a little bit more improved so that road bikes had an easier path. But the great thing about them is they get people off of the main highways, so you can avoid those intersections we talked about earlier. And they also are going to tie into 12th Street, which is going to be a big improvement here in the next couple of years, and have full bike lanes.
That's fantastic. I was actually going to have you expound on that a little bit.
Okay.
But that's a large project, right? I know
is.
it's like a $2 or $3 million project,
Yeah.
and it's going to be bike lanes going parallel on both sides of the road?
Yes,
or?
yes, I believe so. It's going to have full bike lanes. It's going to have sidewalks. It's a big improvement project that Public Works and Engineering has been working on for several years before I came here. I know that they've been working on all of the property acquisitions up and down 12th Street, which can be a really tedious task, but they hope to get that underway soon, and that I really picture that becoming a major bike thoroughfare there to avoid all of the highways in Cottonwood. You can basically get from the AutoZone area of 89A over to Walmart without going through town. So
that'd be a quick way to evade the police, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on a bike. But anyway, I would also, you mentioned it earlier, once again, you talked about applications and grants. And there's something called the bicycle-friendly application.
Yes.
And I don't know where we're at, the status of it, and I know that it's still, there's things going on that we're waiting to hear from whoever it is. But there's like a gold, a platinum, and a silver. There's certain designations. Yep. What is meant by the designations, and what, do you know anything?
Yeah, I can explain that a little bit. It's the American League of Cyclists. They have been established for many, many years, I think since the 50s. And they have this very intense application. It's about 26 pages where we can apply to become a bicycle-friendly business, a bicycle-friendly community, a bicycle-friendly state. There's several different designations. We went for bicycle-friendly community. We went for it last year and we earned honorable mention. The level above that is bronze, and the city manager, Doug Bartosh, as well as Mayor Diane Jones, really wanted to get bronze. They wanted us to step it up that much. It was on the 2011 strategic initiatives of the City Council to achieve this level. So I had to put together an application that explained all of the changes. It's basically an indication of how far you go to make your community bicycle friendly. And I think the big thing that they need to see is progress and change and more things happening. So we did make that application for February, and we should be hearing this month, but I have really, really high hopes that we're going to achieve that bronze level. We'll get a purple sign. If we do, we'll get a purple sign that says bicycle friendly community. We'll have an award ceremony, and we'll also be listed on their website along with all of the other communities. And I just counted today, and there's only about 140 in the whole nation that are bronze. Above that, I think quite a bit less for silver and gold, and I think there's only 2 platinum. So it's an elite thing, and it's a great thing for promoting tourism. If people are looking for areas where they want to come and have a bicycle-friendly place to ride around with their kids, they might refer to that list and see that we're one of them.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll do something good soon. I understand you have the long-term vision for additional paths, and you talked about 12th Street. But there's also some discussions, and I think that a lot of people would be interested who live in and around Old Town and coming up from Riverfront Park. Is there any long-term vision to create any other trails going down towards the park?
Yes, I think so. Just recently with the committee, we have a grant application coming up in July. It's an ADOT grant, Arizona Department of Transportation, and it's also a Federal Highway Administration grant. And it's up to $750,000, which is significant for bicycles. And it's just to improve any facilities or networks that serve pedestrians and bicyclists. And it's meant for off-network, so anything off of the state highways. So when we started reviewing this grant, the committee looked at the map, and we really are trying to find projects that serve the committee, or the biggest portion of the community that we can reach. And for us, that's the Old Town Riverfront area. There's already so many trails in Dead Horse that this would tie into. Old Town is just becoming this great tourist spot. It's also becoming a great, center of our city for our residents. And we just saw a potential there for making some connections that are missing right now. We really would like to see some paths coming down from the school area, and definitely a path connecting Old Town to Riverfront would be really, really great. So that's our goal. We're in the project process of narrowing down that scope, and we will make that application by July.
That's fantastic. Ryan just had a map up. That's what I was checking out there, and it had some of those that look like showing paths going down that way. Are there any other grants you're working on?
Not right now. That's the only one. So it's quite a big one. So next year, I did see some pop up over the last couple of months that we just weren't prepared to go for, but I have them on my radar for next year. So.
And Nikki, like you and I discussed, and I think I mentioned it to Ryan as well, we could easily make this an hour-long show, but we're already at time for our second break.
Okay.
Once again, if you could let anyone who's watching, could you give them any information about websites or a telephone number who they could contact?
I wrote down
additional information?
Yeah, I wrote down a couple here. ADOT's website has some really good information. They're actually in the process of writing a new bicycle and pedestrian plan for the entire state. And this month they actually have a survey out and they're looking for feedback. So if you can go to ADOT's website. Also, the American League of Bicyclists is bikeleague.org, and bikewalk.org also has a lot of good information.
That's fantastic. May is Bike Month, and when we come back, we're going to jump into all of the events that's going to be happening in May. We'll see you in a few.
Meet the team at Arizona Smile Designers, offering complete, comprehensive, restorative, and aesthetic dentistry. Dr. Vergara and Dr. Lord specialize in dental health, implants, and cosmetic dental procedures. Expert staff and state-of-the-art equipment bring forth the most from your smile. Dr. Ripplinger conveniently comes to Arizona Smile Designers for oral surgery and complicated procedures. Visit Arizona Smile Designers at 350 South Willard in Cottonwood. Insurance and new patients are welcome. Call 634-8610.
Thousands of fires across the United States are caused by careless people. Hi, I'm Fire Marshal Rick Contreras with the Cottonwood Fire Department. The major threat of human-caused fires are from burning debris that get out of control or improperly extinguished or unattended campfires. Remember that fireworks have no place on our wild lands. Become part of the solution. Learn more about proper fire safety by contacting the local fire department.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Edition, the show keeping you in the know of everything going on in your community. Today we're talking about bicycles. With us today we have Nikki Arbeiter, Community Planner for the Planning and Zoning Department. Welcome, Nikki.
Thank you.
It's been a great show so far for those of you who are just now tuning in, and we're talking about the city's Bicycle Advisory Committee. I guess it's the community's Bicycle Advisory Committee. And May is Bicycle Month. Nikki, that's an exciting time.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about some events that the city has planned for Bicycle Month?
Yeah, definitely. And we're trying to run this in the paper too. We're trying to get the word out as much as possible. Every Friday in May, there's a Friday social ride sponsored by the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition. They meet at Sharona Cafe at 8 a.m. every Friday, and you can find out more on their website. It's vvcc.us. We also had a bike rodeo. It was a private bike rodeo. It was Mountain View Prep. It was on May 2nd, but I heard that it was very successful. There's about 34 kids. And I just wanted to explain quickly what a bike rodeo is. It's like a safety training seminar for kids, and they always try to do it in the spring, summer when kids are going to start being back out on the roads again. And they have police there teaching them the rules of the road. They kind of inspect their bicycles, make sure they're in safe condition. They have helmet fittings. They actually have helmet and bike giveaways. So they're really fun events for kids to get involved in. We have another bike rodeo on this Saturday, May 5th, which is sponsored by Yavapai County and Safe Routes to School program. We are having a Ride of Silence. It's going to start at Riverfront Park on May 16th at 5 p.m. and that ride honors any of bicyclists who were killed on the roadways. And that's also a Verde Valley Cycling Coalition event. And we are also having a Mayor Council bike ride on May 25th at 8 a.m. And we'll have some more information for you about that. But they meet on the Ramada on the corner of Mesquite and Ocotillo, and the mayor brings orange juice and bananas and supports people, and they have some council members ride in the bicycle ride. So I think that's about it for this month. This is one of the programs that I really want to amp up for next year and have some more events and really start getting people more involved in Bike Month. And the one I did miss is May 14th to 18th is Bike to Work Week. So we're really trying to spread that within the city and try to be good, people and and try to at least for a week bike to work. So we'd really like to see some people out there that week.
Well, I'll make an attempt at that.
Okay.
I don't know if you brought it, and I neglected to ask you to, but do you have a contact number for the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition and the Ride of Silence?
I don't have a contact number, but their website is really up to date, and I think they have some contact information on there.
For anyone interested, check out the Verde Valley Cyclist Coalition's website, and I'm sure you can find what you're looking for. Previously, Nikki, you talked about a city official bicycle plan. I personally, like you, never knew that this had been developed until I started sitting on the committee. Can you tell us who developed it and what does the plan advocate?
Yeah, the bicycle plan was developed in the Community Development Department prior to me starting work there. It was, there were different drafts of it taken to council, and planning and zoning and other committees saw this and helped it through the process. And it was formally adopted in 2009. And the second part of your question was, what is the purpose and the goal? And I kind of took down some notes from their section, from the initial purpose section, if I can find it here. It's to promote alternative transportation options, provide recreational opportunities to residents and tourists, and to promote healthy lifestyles. So kind of just an overall, let's get people out more, more cycling, more, and we have, in order to do that, we have to improve the network. We have to improve the safety so people will be drawn to go out there.
That's fantastic. Are you planning on maybe putting down more sharrows in the future?
Yes, we are. As I mentioned earlier, we really want to get some more in Old Town. We have 10 up right now in different locations throughout the city, but we'd like to get some more down through Old Town because of the situation with the on-street parking down there. And we also have ordered the signs to be placed, and we're going to be installing those in the very near future too. So they should become a more prominent part of our transportation network, those sharrows.
Are any of the BACs, the Bicycle Advisory Committee's plans and or vision attached to that of the state parks or the Forest Service?
I believe so. I haven't had the chance, to get in too much detail with them, but definitely with the state parks, having Randy Victory represented there, we're really trying to promote an overall system in the Verde Valley. And I know Lars Romag, who sits on the committee, is working with the Forest Service for some trails coming down off of Mingus. So there's a lot of different trail projects going on outside of the bicycle committee. Charlie Scully is another planner in our department who works on trails that are out of city limits. So we really are going to come together and have an entire cohesive network in the Verde Valley, and we need to promote that as a cohesive network and have maps showing how people can leave the city network and then be on Dead Horse Ranch State Park property and how they will go from there. So,
yeah, as I mentioned, I'm not a big rider, but I understand there's a lot of great trails out there.
Yes, there is. So
that's fantastic. You mentioned earlier the group, you have the Bike to Work Week. And I know you've done some advertising and marketing in the paper. Or is there going to be flyers? I mean, additional information? We have this show now,
yeah,
so we're getting it
this show will help, but we haven't had any budget for any promotional materials. I have requested that for next year. So, as I said earlier, I really want next year to be a big event. So these are kind of just continuing events that have happened every year. We're trying to get the word out more. But I definitely foresee next May being some new events, some more promotion, and some flyers and such. So we definitely want to work with the rec center, and by then we'd also like to have a website up to get people more information. So. And
you also mentioned the fact that they're having the bicycle rodeo, and that's at the recreation center.
That is at the rec center.
And what's the hours on that this Saturday?
Let me check real quick. I have it written down. It is from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it's in the parking lot, the rear parking lot. And I guess they're going to have Cottonwood PD there, Cottonwood Fire, Zoomer's Bike Shop, and other community members there. They're doing free helmets for those that need them. So it's a really great opportunity for people.
That's fantastic. And I also, I heard today, Scuttlebutt is that the police department, they have something coming up.
Yes, they do. And it's been great having Gary on the committee. They apparently, Cottonwood PD used to have bike patrol. That program was kind of ended for a while, but they still have all their equipment. They still have their bikes. And with Gary's enthusiasm being on our committee, he has charged his sergeants and officers with getting this back reinstated. So they're in the process right now of getting back on their bikes, getting some training. There should be about 2 to 3 officers out on bike patrol. They're also stepping up their efforts to enforce bicycle law on the road. And actually it was in the paper, end of April, they made a routine stop for somebody who was riding on a bicycle on a sidewalk, which is against the law. And it's very, people don't really know that, but anyway, that's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to inform people how to properly ride their bicycles on the road. And this stop actually led to a warrant arrest for this guy had a warrant out for abusing a police officer or some other instance. So it ended up being good for the police department, but it also was just an example of the police being more active and noticing the bicyclists more.
That's fantastic. I actually think I saw that arrest when I was coming to work one day. Yeah. But anyway, Nikki, we cannot thank you enough. I had 7 more questions here to ask you. We ran out of time.
Well, maybe we can come back later when we find out the news about the bike-friendly community application.
That'd actually be a good idea, and maybe we could talk about some other things that we have in the works as far as the committee's concerned. But once again, Nikki, I would like to thank you personally for coming on. We're always looking for good information that we think the community would like to hear and know about. And for me, this was informative, even though I do sit on the committee.
Good. I appreciate it. No, I really want to get the word out to the community, so thank you for having me.
I guess, and in ending, could you one more time give the people a telephone number on whom they could contact or a website?
Yes. My name is Nikki Arbeiter, and you can contact me at 634-5505, extension 3322.
Look for us on the television and let Mr. Nichols here at Yavapai Broadcasting know what you think about the show. He'll forward any emails, complaints, queries, or any other information you give him to us. Once again, thank you.